Welcome back to my survival Let's Play Minecraft series. My name is Leah with Lady Axe Gaming. If you are new here, I would like to welcome you. If you are a returning viewer, I would love to welcome you back. I feel like it's been quite a while since we've been in this particular Minecraft world. I do apologize for that. We've had a couple of things going on IRL, but I'm going to try my best to get back into this world because I really want to progress farther. I did attempt to do a little bit of caving during that time, so I'm going to show you a little bit of footage from that attempt to go down in the mines. As you can see, I did attempt to go down into the caves in that big dripstone cave that we found at the beginning of this series. I wanted to go down there and try and get diamond. I'd like to get leveled up to diamond for adventuring. I'd also like to get some backup gear because I do tend to die a lot, and I'd like to have some spare gear on me if I can manage. But I quickly realized that I was nowhere near ready to go down in that cave. I do have iron armor on now, but that's because I've been hard at work trying to get better gear to go back down into that cave. And that is the reason that I am here right now with you guys in this episode. I am not going to go back down in that cave until I feel like I am geared up and ready for a caving session. So what we're going to do now is, I think in this episode, we are going to work on one of our very, very first farms. And that is going to be an iron farm. I'm going to need a lot of iron for a lot of different things. I need it for my gear, my tools, my weapons, get a lava source going, which I'm going to need cauldrons for, and that requires iron. And eventually when we get our trading hall built up, we can actually trade iron with villagers. So I think all around, getting an iron farm going would be the best next step for this world because it's just overall it's going to be a good, probably the best way to get iron. And I'm thinking that this village here would be a perfect place to put an iron farm. Unfortunately, I'm not going to keep all the villagers in this village. I'm going to keep 3 of them, of course, because I'm going to need 3 in order to start the iron farm. But my trading hall villagers, I think I'm going to have all the way over there in the other village that's next to the nether portal. I think that's going to be a better place to put those guys. So this area, I think, is going to be perfect for an iron farm. So that's what I want to work on today. So I am going to just start tearing down some of these villager homes. My goal is to get all these guys into one house, and then that way I'm able to tear this down and clear it out and kind of level things out and make space for an iron farm. Is there another bed here? Hi. Can you get out of this house, please? You know, I think what I can do is I can sleep. I'm so impatient. I don't want to wait for these guys to try and find this house. I just want to start working on tearing down these homes. And I think as I clear this out, they will start tracking to this house over here. So let's sleep this night away. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and work on tearing down these homes. Where do we even begin? Maybe we'll just start working our way from here and move that way. Hopefully these tools, you know, hold up. All right. As you can see, I'm back in my house, and that is because I was finishing up tearing down the village, and I had my game paused, and I forgot to log out. And of course, as I was busy, I ended up dying to some zombies. So I have to go and get my iron chest plate. Hopefully it's still there. I gotta remember not to AFK out in the middle of nowhere when it's almost nighttime in Minecraft. When I have to go somewhere, I usually stop the game and then I go do something, and I failed to do that. So let's go see if our stuff is still there. I got most of it, but I think my chest plate is still floating around. Hopefully. Over here. Where was it? Oh yeah, right here. Should be. Yep, there we go. We got our stuff. We can put this back on, and we are good to go. Okay, so as you can see, I have just a little bit of the foundation left of this final house to tear down. But we finished tearing down all of the structures in this village to make way for the iron farm. As I was tearing these houses down, I was kind of contemplating what I wanted to do for the iron farm, because I typically use the same iron farm design for most of my iron farms. Now, it's not my own design, it's someone else's design that I found on YouTube. Put it down in the description of this video if you'd like, if you want to use that design. It's a great iron farm design, but I kind of think that I want to challenge myself in this world, and I want to try and build a more aesthetically pleasing iron farm. But the thing about iron farms is they have to be spawn proof, because in order to get the iron golems to spawn in the iron farm to then farm the iron from them, you don't want any areas around the farm that are spawnable blocks, because then you're going to have iron golems spawning, you know, anywhere except in the iron farm. They're going to be spawning all over the place, messing up and breaking the farm. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge. I know that because I've never done anything like that before. But I know it can be done. I've seen other Minecrafters do it, and it has intrigued me and inspired me. And I really want to have a more aesthetically pleasing world this time around. So I am going to probably go that route. I think I have kind of an idea of what I want to do for the farm itself. I'll probably design the more basic iron farms that I've seen used in different worlds, and then kind of just build up from there to make it look like it actually fits into this area. I think I'm gonna stick with the same block palette that I have for my barn and my house, my starter house. That way everything just kind of flows. I did leave this last house because, like I said, I wanted to save some villagers for the iron farm. And, you know, I was thinking, apart from being a great source of iron, this farm is also going to be a great way to get some early game XP. And it's also going to be a great way to get some emerald for when we do get the trading hall built. So I'll be able to come over here because I'm going to have, I usually do about 3 Fletchers. Fletchers are a great trade, great early game trade because you can trade sticks with them for the emeralds. And then you can also get bows and stuff like that. So it's a great way to get early game emeralds, and that's just going to be a good overall. So I'm actually really excited to put in this iron farm. I've never built an iron farm this early on in a world before, but I just think that it's going to be a great resource for myself in this world. So I need to figure out the sort of specs of this particular iron farm, and I need to figure out everything that I'm going to need to make sure that I am not missing any sort of resources that I will need for this iron farm. I am going to go and do a little tiny bit of research on this iron farm design. I'm going to try and figure out how I want to put it all together also, and then we will come back and we will put in this iron farm once and for all. All right, so it didn't take me long to find a farm that I think will work for our needs. I don't need anything big or grand or anything like that. Since it's just little old me in this world, this farm is actually I got the tutorial for this farm on a channel called Voltrox. If you want to check them out and follow the tutorial for this farm, I can link their video down in the comments, or you can just search their channel on YouTube. It looks pretty simple. All it is a square hole in the ground, and you get the chamber for the villagers. I need about 3 beds for 3 villagers. Luckily, we set aside a couple of villagers, and then we need, so it needs 3 chambers. We need the chamber for the villagers. We need a separate chamber for the zombie, because how these iron farms work is you get a zombie in with the villagers. You have to separate them so he doesn't zombify them. But once you get them in their appropriate places, the villagers will get scared by the zombie, and they will then spawn in golems to protect the villagers. So they will spawn in the upper chamber that we're going to be building, and they will flow into a lava source and get melted, I guess. And they will drop poppies and iron, which poppies will be good for red dye. We're going to get a ton of poppies. I'm going to have to figure out a storage solution once we get this iron farm up and running. I'll probably just do storage within the build that I'm going to be doing. But really, since this is only a dirt square hole with a couple of hoppers and chests, I'm not going to need too many resources for the iron farm itself. The resources that I am going to need are going to be for the actual build that I want to do around the iron farm. I'm thinking of just a simple like building, and I might do a little tower on the side of it just to kind of give it a little bit more interest, and maybe even add like a little windmill or something on the side of it somehow, just to kind of dress it up. And I'm going to be following the same block palette as my starter base and the barn over here. So I think I might have enough of the resources for that build itself. I'm not going to make this build too big. I do still want to keep it on the smaller side because it is going to be kind of like a starter iron farm. So I don't want to go too extensive. You know, I'm not going to spare a bunch of expense for this build, but I do want it to fit into the world and look nice. So we're going to do a little bit of work to make it look good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on prepping the area and getting the iron farm put in. I'm not going to show this part on camera because it is not my farm. It is not my build. I typically don't like to show those on camera if they're not my own. So what I will do is I will make the farm, and then we will come back after the farm is built and I will build the building. I am going to go ahead and get to work, and then I will see you when the iron farm is in. All right, everybody, and we are back. I have the iron farm in, so I'm going to show you right now what that looks like. Like I said, this is a very simple iron farm. It's actually working rather well. I haven't checked on it in a couple of days. Let's see how much we've got here. We've already got almost 2 stacks of iron, and that doesn't account for some of the iron that I pulled out right after I was done building it. So this is actually, oh, excuse me, hang on. Excuse me. Let me eat for a minute. Like I said, that doesn't account for the iron that I pulled out right after building it. So I really do like this farm. Now, something I realized after I put it in though is I do not like where the chest is placed. I would like to be able, when I build the building around the iron farm, I want to be able to just, oh, hello. Apparently I've got a lot of visitors wanting to get in on this recording. Excuse me, sir. Oh, well, you kind of started the project for me, so thank you. I was kind of looking at some designs for a more aesthetic building around the iron farm. And there was one that I saw that was really nice. And what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to walk up to the chest and just kind of open it and pull iron out. And I also would like to turn it into kind of a, not kind of, I would actually like it to be the building where I store most of the iron and poppies that I get from this farm. And right now where it sits, it's not quite where I would like it to be for this build. So what I'm thinking is we're probably going to have to dig down a little bit and kind of build, looks about maybe 2 or 3 blocks down in order to get the build in the way that I want it. But that shouldn't be too difficult. I probably am going to have to go through quite a bit of shovels to do that. One thing that I was finding when I was done building this iron farm is that a lot of times the way the original tutorial had it designed was there was only signs like right here, right under the lava, and the golems were kind of glitching into the dirt. They were still dying and dropping iron, but they just kind of, they glitched right here, and it took them a while to die. So I put the signs all the way across this wall, and it does seem to help. I've seen a couple glitch into the wall since making that adjustment. So I don't know if that's just something that happens with these types of iron farms. If you guys can tell me down in the comments, maybe there's a way that I can make it so these iron golems don't glitch at all. I mean, like I said, I'm not really losing any iron drop pleasant, but I am going to put a build around this. And so it might not even matter. And I think what I want to do, I know this is going to sound kind of awful, but I want to add some glass, like a glass floor. So this is probably going to be, the first floor is going to be where I can come in and grab the iron and poppies from the box here, from the chest. And then I want a second floor, which is probably going to be where the storage for this iron is going to be located. And the floor, I want it to be made out of glass so we can look down and see the iron farm actually working. And I think I would also like to have a basement floor, because if I take you down here, you'll see the components of how this iron farm works. If you are not familiar with iron farms and how they work, I think I mentioned this before. If a villager gets scared by a zombie or a zombie villager, it will get scared and then it will spawn iron golems. With an iron farm, you usually have 3 villagers, and I've name tagged these guys so they don't despawn. I've name tagged this guy so he doesn't despawn. You can give the zombie armor, or if you can find one with armor already on it, that is great. If they're holding something, they won't despawn, but I just name tagged him because he doesn't have any of that and I didn't want to lose him, and I name tagged my villagers. They do not have jobs yet. I'm thinking of giving them the Fletcher trade like I talked about, because that's a good early game source of emeralds. I haven't done that yet, but I want to be able to come down here eventually to trade with them, and I think putting in kind of like a basement floor would be a great way to get access to those villagers. And then I did also gather up quite a bit of resources for the build itself. I got a bunch of stone. I went down into the mine right here and grabbed a bunch more andesite. I went over to the dark oak forest and mined up a bunch more of the logs for the roof. And I also decided to kind of organize this little chest monster I've got here. Just because I want to be able to come in and just grab what I need as I'm building and not have to worry about searching through a bunch of chests. I think it's actually almost about time to build an actual place for storage. because my little storage up in the top of my house there is already overflowing. I went in and kind of organized everything. And yeah, it's definitely getting to that point where I am going to need to think about another storage solution. But for now, I wanted to keep these here because this is what I had here when I tore down all these homes. And I thought it would be good to have the resources for the iron farm build nearby, so I'm not having to run back and forth to my base. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make up a couple of shovels, and I'm going to get to doing some of this, peeling back some of this terrain. Craft up a bunch of shovels. Oh, that's quite a bit, but that's probably about as much as I'm going to need. So what I'm going to do now that I have the iron farm actually in and I have it shut off right now, I'm going to go ahead and peel this back and get it to a level that I feel comfortable with. And then we're going to go ahead and put the building around it. And if I peel this back to where the chests are, that'll give me kind of an idea of how far back I need this land to be dug out. I was thinking it might be better to just redo the farm and move it up a couple blocks, because I did kind of want it to sit on this hillside. Then I was like, I don't know if I want to do all that work to take everything down, move the zombies and the villagers and stuff. I just didn't think that that was going to be a good option. So this is what I have landed on. I'm going to go ahead and do the stone and give it a mossy look, like because of the water, it's kind of corroding and getting older. I wonder if I'm going to have to move this lava, because all that dirt right there, it's going to bring it down. The lava is going to go away, or it's going to ooze out and kind of burn everything. Okay, there we go. All right, so that should not affect the lava anymore. There's not really going to be a rhyme or reason to this. Oh, okay. This is going a lot better than I thought. I'm going to trust that this lava is not going to catch this wood on fire. Okay, you know what's going to happen is that thing's going to catch fire as soon as I close this in. I also think that I want to decorate this thing with iron to kind of show that it is an iron farm. So I have some ideas of what I want to put for decorations on the outside. This kind of theme the build around what it is. And I'm so scared that any minute that wood is going to catch on fire. I'm even a little bit worried putting wood right here. That's kind of nice. I like that. And of course it will look even better once I put all the other decorations and stuff in. What I think I want to do now is I want to switch to a time lapse to get this thing done. And then once it's done, I will come back and I will show you the end result. And then I kind of want to move on with the rest of this episode. I think we're doing so good right now with our resources, especially after building this farm. So I'm really pleased I'm really pleased with where we're going on this episode. I think we've accomplished quite a bit, and I am super excited for that. Let's go ahead and get to time-lapsing and get the rest of this iron farm built and turn it back on and get ourselves some more iron so that we can go down in the mines to get ourselves some diamonds. In 3, 2, 1, let's get building. We are back. The iron farm is done and the build is complete as well. So now I am going to go ahead and turn around and we're going to hop over this hill here and I am going to show you the end result. You probably saw it in the time lapse, of course, but I have done quite a few other things since finishing that time lapse. So I want to kind of take you on a little tour. I am super happy with how this turned out. I did have to go in and change some of these blocks from wood to stone and iron because I had wood going across here. And of course, there's lava on the other side. And after a few minutes of working on the build, it started to catch fire. And I definitely don't want my buildings catching on fire. So I ended up having to change this. I really like how it turned out. I decided to do diorite on the top floor instead of down here like on the other builds. Kind of gives it a little bit of variation from the other build that I have from my starter home. And I really like that. And then I went around and added these lights, these lanterns. Like I mentioned, I really wanted to dress this place up with things that just kind of scream iron because like iron blocks and iron bars and lanterns and all that kind of stuff are things that you craft from iron. Here, I actually put in a small little bone meal farm, automatic bone meal farm, just because I don't want to completely overflow with poppies. I'll probably pull some out to use for red dye and stuff, but I figured that's another great way to get some bone meal going. So I thought that would be a good little addition over here. And then if we come to this side, this is the section where you actually walk into the farm. And I love this little overhang. Again, I wanted something similar to what I have on my barn and my starter house. So I put this in and I absolutely love how it looks. And then I did a lot of decorating. I put in a plant here. And then if we walk in this door, I have a small section of storage here, which I'm already using for iron and some other things that I just kind of drop off in here. I use these for like smelting and decor and stuff like that. So I want to keep some stuff over here. I've got a stone cutter. I wanted to light this up, but of course I have bottom slabs so that the iron golems don't spawn in here. I don't know that they can anyhow because this might be too short for them, but I just wanted to make sure that they weren't going to spawn in here. So I went ahead and put in lanterns on the floor, but I sunk them into the corners and that just really helps light this place up. And then if we come up here, I added the second floor, which is where we can come in and see the glass floor. And I actually decided to put glass in down by where you can see the villagers as well. So you can see the farm actually working, and I really like this. I like how it turned out. I was going to put things here, and I might kind of like maybe put banners or something here, but I couldn't quite figure out what I wanted to do with this section, and I really I don't want to clutter it with too much because, like I said, I want to be able to see the farm actually working. And then, of course, over here we've got a couple of things. I've got a blast furnace, a regular furnace, we've got a stone cutter, and a ton of storage for other things. Overall, I absolutely love how this turned out. You know, in the different renditions that I had going on in my head, this was not one that I actually had in mind, but I really like this. It kind of reminds me of my starter house, but it definitely has its own charm. And, you know, it has all the little ornaments and dawnings and stuff on it that really make it stand out as an iron farm. And I've made sure to spawn proof anything so that the iron golems aren't spawning, and that was a good challenge for me. I really like that I was able to do that. So that is the build. You guys are gonna have to let me know what you think. I absolutely love it. I'm very pleased with how this went. And then I need to show you down here. Hang on a second. So we have our zombie and our villagers, and as I mentioned, I ended up giving them the Fletcher job because I have now turned this into my makeshift trading hall, so I can come down here and trade sticks with these guys for emeralds. This is a good way for me to get XP and also emeralds as well. And we can also get bows from these guys. So I'm actually, oops, ouch, excuse me. I'm going to turn the farm off because I don't want any iron flowing in when I add the final piece to this farm. The only thing I'm worried about is the bone meal, the automatic bone meal farm right there. They might try to get into that, but I don't think they'll do anything with it. If they do, I can figure out a way to sort of block that off from them so that only I can access it. But here we go. We are going to make ourselves a couple of new little helpers for over here at the iron farm. You ready? Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take their chests. Excuse me, sir. And we are going to switch this chest out for their copper chests. Will they come over here? Come on, guys. You know, I might need to... Oh, I wonder if I should put some fencing around this so they don't just wander off. No, no, no. What are you doing with that? Maybe I should make them a chest. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'll make them a bone meal chest so that they can use that for... What are you getting into? Sir, that is not where those go. All right, this might be a little bit of an issue. Don't go in there. No. This can be for bone meal. These guys, they're helpful, but of course, you know, you have to make sure that they have the item that you want to sort in the chest that you want them to go in, or else they're just going to make a mess of all of your things. Can they reach that? Maybe it's too high. Okay, what if I do this? We'll switch these. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Do they not access barrels? What do you got? Excuse me. They want to put it there. I really don't know. I might have to work on this a little bit more. Oh, he got it? Now, they're kind of slow, so they might not get every piece of iron that comes through the farm. I might have to get it for them. But at least, you know, this is a way that I can keep the iron moving when I'm not over here, because I'm not always going to be over here. I'm going to be over at my house. But I'm pretty sure that this place stays loaded when I'm over at my home, at my base. So these guys can constantly be moving. Okay, so we need to turn this back on so that we can give them something to do. Now, that's pretty much it for this episode. I still need to get leveled up to diamond. So we are definitely going to make a note to do that next episode. But for now, I am going to go ahead and hop off here and hopefully start working on editing this episode and working on the next episode for you guys. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed day, week, month, year, whenever and wherever you're watching from. And until the next episode, I will catch you all later. God bless and bye.